What's an upgrade, everyone? Downgrade. Okay, downgrade. Every single time I've seen technology improve, it's gotten worse. I don't know who's in charge out there. I don't know who's in charge. All right. Okay, so that's easy. So really what I do is this. In my head, I just destroy those because aren't those zeros? So isn't it 0 - 4? I put my hand over it. All right. I put a hand over anything that has x's. So this one is 0, comma -2. All right, do I have to divide -4 over 2 and show you that? Oh no. Oh no. What's 3 over 0? Undefined. Okay, so actually they're just saying find the y-intercept for each one. So this would be a none. Okay, you wouldn't have any on this one. It's 3 over 0 is undefined. You guys can handle that, right? I don't have to over explain that. Okay, and then x-intercept, you plug in 0, say it, for y. Here's what happens every single time. I wish I had a little bit more space. Let's do it on this one. Let's make that 0. And then what's the next thing that I tell my A Bers to do? How would you solve this? Craw. Anyone craw? Anyone cross multiply? What happens every single time to the denominator? What happens every single time to the denominator? It cancels. Well, this is a silly one. So then you just have the numerator equal to 0. So that's why I'm going to highlight these. The x-intercepts are just the zeros of the numerator then, because every single time I plug in 0 for y, I cross multiply and the denominator goes away. All right. So wait a minute. Let's finish that third one. Subtract 1, divide by 2. What kind of number do I get for this? Imaginary. So what does that mean about the x-intercepts? There are none. I heard some people whisper it, and these are all things we're supposed to know. So can we move on? Yes, Mr. Samuels. All right, but you can't be just like a robot and say, okay, I'll factor that numerator, and then I'll find those zeros. I'll find the zeros of the numerators. Wrong. That's x, well, what I was trying to think of. It's x minus 5. Okay, we're okay. X minus 5, x plus 1. What did I think I might? Oh, you don't know this. Okay, actually, I was going to say something that we're doing in AB. It's weird. AB, we're taking a quiz tomorrow on all aspects of a rational function. So somehow we've gotten ahead of. I think we really delved into more things with you guys in the previous sections. So, but anyway, does anything cancel? Let's just put it that way. Does anything cancel? No, an x minus 5 does not cancel with an x plus 5. So, and then I could write this stuff down. So x-ints are 5, 0. We really should write that as coordinates. I don't like when they say the zeros are x equals 5 and x equals -1, which syntactically I guess is correct. But I want to piggyback what you learned 2 class periods ago. What does that x plus 5 give you? Oh, look at my shirt. Okay, that's why I wore this shirt today. Who is that? Does anyone know who that is? That's who said Gandalf. Did we talk about this before? You shall not pass, right? That also is if you don't do your homework, but also vertical asymptotes don't get crossed. So you shall not pass. Anyone watch Lord of the Rings before? You have, or you just know it's Gandalf? You just know. No one's ever seen Lord of the. Do you guys watch anything other than your little screen in front of your face? Does anyone watch movies anymore? Anyone? Anyone? You know, Hollywood is the way to go to direct your life and make you live a prosperous. No, that's actually not true. They're a bunch of um, evil people. Anyway, vertical asymptote. It's always hilarious. It's always hilarious during politics times. What does George Clooney think about the election? Who gives a crap what George Clooney thinks about the election? Why is he any expert about what's going on around here? Anyway, see how you get more than just math in here? I see people making faces over there. And then over here, oh no, what happens with the x minus 5s, everyone? They cancel. So this is called, I don't think we've talked about this before. This makes a hole in the graph. Have we seen holes yet? Have we done that? Oh, we have? The intersection between my A, B, and B Cers, it's hard to remember what I'm doing in what class. So anyway, you know what? Then let's do that. Let's do it if you said we have. First of all, the x-intercept is -1, 0. I bring up George Clooney because when President Biden, is he really our president? I don't even think he's even functioning in the office right now. But he called Biden, he is just like George Washington, the sacrifice he made to step away from the office. What a guy. All right. What? Anyway. And then there's a whole, whole at -5. We did talk about this, right? And then you plug it into the leftover. So -5 plus 1 is -4. Anyway, I'm not being political. I just think it's goofy. You know, the things that I don't want to get in trouble in this video. See, look at what he does in class. I might have to cancel this video now. I'm already in trouble. Anyway, and then I think that's it. That's not a vertical asymptote. You know, that's a hole at that position. Actually, we did have this. Now I remember that's a picture of a line, right? It's not even like with asymptotes or anything like that. It's just a line with a hole. And that's it with that. Okay, so I don't know even what this says. Let's just do everything we know. Let's do everything we know on this. Oh, no. I don't think that's factorable. And then write the end behavior. I don't know why they say continue. Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's try to find the x-intercepts. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did we do slant asymptotes as well? Okay, so we're good. Oh no, does anything multiply to 2? I don't know if you've ever done that before, but that's just find out if something's factorable. The m number is not 1, it's 2 times 1. But does anything multiply to 2 and add a -4? The opposite. Okay, so this is how I'd find the x-intercepts, and this could lead to x-intercepts or maybe not. So I do want to cover this. I want to do everything I know now. So the opposite would be wrong. The opposite would be plus. Or should I leave the George Clooney stuff in? Will anyone get me in trouble? Okay, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I think they're all disgusting. Anyway, and only care about themselves. 16, not poor old Mr. Samulus. Poor middle class bum. Am I even middle class as a teacher? Low class. All over to a b squared minus 4ac. All right, and then equals 4 plus or minus. 4 times 2 is 8. Oh, right. Okay, you know what? I'm going to write this as, I'm doing okay, right? Because then square root of 8 is 4 root 2. I guess we could go to the calc. Can anyone go to the, well, this is 4th hour. I don't think they talk to me much. Can anyone go to the calculator and get those decimals, or do I have to teach you how to do that? I just heard someone go, gosh, you always got to do so much in this class. Okay, doesn't everything divide by 2, right? Okay, does that mean there's x-intercepts, yes or no? Yes. Okay, let's wait a half hour, speaking of technology, for my calculator to open. I already hit it. Let's all count how long this takes. That's great. Oh, I don't even know what this means. This has never come up before. Thank you. I don't know. What is now what? What does it say to do? Okay. Oh, that was fun. Okay. Second quit. What was it? 2 plus or minus 2 root 2, right? 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 2 plus. I can't do plus minus, right? So I have to do 2 root 2. What's wrong? Oh, no 2? I'm old. I'm confused. Just leave me alone. Okay, and then divide it. Do you notice how I did that though? That's why I didn't have to do parentheses and I didn't have to grab the fraction button, which takes some extra clicks. You get the numerator done as a decimal, then divide. And then I could do this in your fancy new calculators if this is faster. I really don't think that was faster. Maybe because the root button is kind of, how does he say root? The root button is sometimes hard to access, then divide that by 2. Those are 2 concrete decimals that exist on the x-axis. Okay, so those are x-intercepts there. Great, sign in success. Okay, so you know what you could do for the x-intercepts? You could go like this. I did simplify this, right? And it was divided by 2, comma, 0. Huh? That's the exact form of the x-intercepts. Everyone with me? Who said no? What happened? Well, you could write it like this. 4 over 4 is 1, a big Godzilla 4. Big Godzilla 1. Did he say God? And then 2 over, so 2 over 4 would be 1 root 2 over 2. So that's the same. This is just, common denominator form. Those are equal. Not a bad question because in multiple choice, sometimes this would be the listed answer. And you got to be able to shift gears, and go back and forth. Good question. All right. And then I got to erase that because now I need the y-intercept. Hey, what's the y-intercept? It's a nice little fraction. Y-int. Anyone? Oh, I guess they didn't learn the first part. 0, comma, hurry up. Negative. Anyone? Negative 1/3. Y-intercept use your hand and cover these up because those are all zeros. 0 minus 0 plus 1 over 0 minus 3. That's how easy it should be. If I was standing up and not being a bum in class right now, I'd put my hand on the screen over everything with an X. All right. And then do I have a horizontal asymptote or what kind of asymptote do I have? Horizontal or slant? I have no time for this. Slant. So how do you find the slant asymptote? I know the directions don't say that up here, but let's just review everything we've done in our shortened day here together. It's going to be some short notes. You notice this is the end of the notes. The next page is your homework. Down, 3 times 2 is 6. 2, that's weird. 3 times 2 is 6, as if I have to do that. 6 plus 2. So 2x plus 2 plus 7 over x. Was that minus 3? Do I even write that, though, for a slant asymptote? Can I? If you were in Mr. Samuelis's class, I wouldn't care because it's not wrong. All right? But that's what the ends approach. They approach this line. When we actually talk about drawing a picture on your own, I'll insert that in Y2 and you'll see how the horizontal asymptotes control the end behavior very nicely. What's the last thing? What am I missing? Slants? Oh, come on. Vertical asymptote. What's that? X equals. I have no time. X equals 3. I said X equals. That's good. But if you put vertical asymptotes 3, I'm marking you wrong with the red pen of justice. Okay? It's got to be an equation. X equals. Got it? Right? Is there 3 of these? Oh, I'm already tired. I won't. This doesn't even factor anyway. So maybe the last 2, I'll just do what they say here, just for purpose of this. I do like this though. This is where we're very close to being able to then create a graph, right? Without a graphing calculator. But we'll have a nice lesson for that. So let's just do this. And then write the end behavior asymptotes. Okay, we could do that. End behavior. Okay, what happens with this one? What kind of asymptote do I get? So now I'm just going to do this because really the top doesn't factor again, and then we got a bit of an issue on that. But what's the what kind of asymptote do I have? A end or a slant? I'm sorry, a horizontal or a slant? That doesn't even make sense. It's a slant. Okay, to even find that, I kind of probably should to answer the end behavior statement. So we're going to have to do long division. There's a little, or did we talk about synthetically dividing by -1/2, what we have to do? Okay, so maybe we can do that. We're in honors and we talked about that. So what's the number that goes in there? What number goes in there? -1/2. And we're going to need to do what I do in this last part. Feel free to long divide. Anyone doesn't want to do this, go ahead and do your long division, get a little ahead of me, and then you'll see what actually happens. I've already done this in class. By the way, you do have to put this in descending order. -1 plus 3 plus 5. I don't know why I'm putting the pluses. I'm just making a sense of this. Oh no. I bring down the -1, and then I multiply by -1/2, and I get a half. You probably don't want to write this as 3 1/2. 3 1/2 is 2 times 3, 6. 6 plus 1 is 7 halves. Got it? Now, do I need the remainder? Then don't even calculate it. But is the slant asymptote actually y equals -1x plus 7 halves? The answer is no. What do I have to do to both of these coefficients? Multiply by that 2. So when you synthetically divide by a fraction, to get the actual polynomial left over, is you need to multiply by 2 those coefficients, but not the remainder. And that we only did that like once. So that's why I'm a little worried about covering this, and I don't think this wouldn't be a test element. It'd actually be okay over here because what kind of slope is that? Just say the sine. So this would be like this. The slant asymptote would be like that. So, and I do have a vertical asymptote at x equals a negative a half. So it would be something like this, and the graph would look like this somehow. Or it'd be down here, one or the other. I don't know. It's one or the other. So on vertical asymptotes to the right, it'd be above or below. You're going to have to do some math in order to do that. But let's pretend it's just the above one. I may be completely wrong, but do understand the end behavior is going to be the same. As x goes to infinity, where's y going? Where's y going? Negative infinity. And if this is the case, this would probably be the case. Well, as x goes to infinity, where's y going? Or it could have been this green graph. It could be in this spot, in this spot. And this isn't bad to go over because we're going to need to know this in the future anyway. Aren't those end behaviors still the same? Yes. So it says end behavior limit statements, either green or red graph, it doesn't matter. X approaches negative infinity, that rises to infinity. So that's how you analyze the type of slant asymptote you have. You still could determine how the graph ends because it's controlled by those asymptotes. Got it? Oh, then the last one, that's a lot easier. What kind of asymptote do you have for this? Slant or horizontal? Why would I only care about this in this section? It's because it says just give me the end behavior using limit statements. So that is the slant or horizontal asymptotes, right? Isn't it y equals 7/2? So that's the answer to both of these limits. Yoink, let's be lazy. Yoink, right? 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 Okay, we're done. That's why we had the